What's going on, guys? ChaseWins.com coming to you Monday night, the 23rd. See that Christmas tree behind me? Is that not, look at that. Is that not crazy? It's not even Thanksgiving. My wife is a Christmas decoration nut. Always has been. But what am I going to do? Happy wife, happy life, right? That's just one of them. That right there, that's, a living room that we don't even use. Our main living room, I don't know how you would consider it. I guess this would be considered the main living room because front door entrance is there, but the living room where we actually congregate, couch, TV, everything. We've got one in there. We've got them upstairs, downstairs. I think there's one in the freaking kitchen, for Christ's sake. There'll be one outside. It's ridiculous. But anyway, so Monday Night Football is now going into the fourth quarter, and I just got the video that I did this morning posted up where we didn't have a play in the Monday Night Football game, so you didn't miss out on anything there. I gave my reasons why I wasn't going to touch it, and pretty spot on about it because it's actually going that way. And even though this game could still go either way, and I have the utmost faith in Tom Brady. I feel like the Rams are going to have their number tonight. Still a quarter to go, and we all know what Tom Brady's capable of, but I think the Rams have got it, which kind of sucks after it wouldn't be as big of a deal had the Saints lost yesterday, but they did not. So that's going to put the Bucks 2 games back in their division. If they lose tonight, which won't be good, but we'll just see what happens. I still got the utmost faith in Tom Brady. I still think the Bucks are going to the playoffs, and I still don't think that, even though Sean Payton I think is a much better head coach and he's an offensive genius, I just don't think that the Saints are Super Bowl, material. And the Saints are kind of one of those teams that it's kind of like if Brady was still with the Patriots. They'd be talking about it Super Bowl or bust every year. Same thing with Aaron Rodgers at Green Bay, Drew Brees with New Orleans. You get a quarterback like that that's in the twilight of his career that you know that any year could be his last. It's Super Bowl or bust. Just making the playoffs or, whatever. It's all fine and dandy for the organization to say that they made it. It's all fine and dandy for the head coach to say, well, hey, I made the playoffs again, so I know that I've still got a job. But when you have somebody like that, if you don't go to a Super Bowl, then you certainly didn't achieve the goals that you set for yourself preseason. But anyway, if you have not watched the video that I posted just a little while ago that I recorded this morning, click the link in the description below. 2 free plays in there, one for Friday college football and one for Thanksgiving Day NFL. Nice little underdog there for you. And another underdog that I want you guys to look at that I think a lot of people are going to overlook or just too quickly look at the blatant obvious is pay attention to the Ravens on Thanksgiving Day. I think this could be an upset spot for the Steelers. Going into the season, I made it very clear that I did not think that the Ravens were Super Bowl material and that I thought that they were a bit overhyped. And I didn't even think that they were as good of a team as for 2020 as they were in 2019. Number one being that as the season progressed in 2019, you didn't see them just, barreling over teams like they were doing in the first half of the season of 2019. And that was because people finally figured out what they were doing. They were relying on Lamar Jackson. 75% of that offense relies on him 100% of the time. And, if you're gonna leave it on one guy who's not a true quarterback, yeah, he can throw the ball. Yeah, he's above average. And when he uses his legs, he's as dangerous as anybody. He's not a very smart quarterback. He's kind of a fly by the seat of his pants type guy. He's not quick with his release like, Tom Brady is. That's why Tom Brady's the best to ever do it. And I think that I still think it's too early to say it. I think Patrick Mahomes will be the only one that, even though he might blow through his records, I don't think Patrick Mahomes is going to win as many Super Bowls because I don't think that Kansas City will stay the team that Belichick and Robert Kraft allowed the Patriots to stay for 20 years. That's just my thoughts on it. And I don't think that if we're really talking about the quarterback position, I don't think Patrick Mahomes will be better than Brady. I think Patrick Mahomes has already proven he might be a better football player. But anyway, that's a topic for another day. Thanksgiving stuff going on this week. Again, if you watched the previous video, you'll know this. Anything at the site purchased is going to go to the We Are Sports Foundation. That's my youth sports charity, along with my partner, Jerry Valdez. And what we're going to do is, obviously, we focus on youth sports in underprivileged and underserved communities. Mainly, we focus on a lot of minority-driven areas. Obviously, I'm an inner-city kid as well as he is, so that's really near and dear to our heart. A lot of African-American and Hispanic organizations is what we go towards, where they do not get a lot of community support as far as grants and donations. So it's usually all privately funded, and they just don't have the money to do it. Because again, you go into an inner city where these kids are playing, and a lot of these kids are coming from households where you can barely pay the bills in areas like this. So, the family doesn't have the money to put them into a sporting program. So it's up to people to donate to allow it to be almost like a scholarship program. So we set out to help organizations across the country like that. And because of COVID this year, I mean, there's always such a huge need for it, but because of COVID, there's going to be a lot of these organizations and these youth sports leagues across multiple sports: football, baseball, basketball. I mean, even talking about volleyball and girls softball, things like that. Even some junior hockey stuff in the northeastern region and in the Midwest. They're not going to be around because of COVID. Because this year they didn't get to play, so they didn't get sponsorships and grants, and a lot of those grants in a lot of areas for pretty much everything has come to a halt. And where they do get sponsorship dollars from local businesses and stuff, well, those businesses are not going to be doing that because they're not open either. They're not making enough money to pay their bills, so they're certainly not going to funnel it out to something else. We are targeting the ones that will no longer be around come 2021, where the kids won't have anything. Targeting places in LA, Detroit, Chicago, cities that have been hit really, really hard by the lockdowns, where people just can't go to work. Businesses are shut down, have been since March. But if you live in an area where things like that are going on, and of a particular sports league or organization that needs our help, please email me, reach out so we can know. I mean, we live in a great big old country. We can't know about everybody at all times. And if there's somebody we don't know about, we want to know about them so we can reach out and help. Or if you're involved in one, we can talk to you directly and see how we can get involved to help. But obviously, that's what we target all year round. So we're going to be donating money to those, and then we're going to split up some donations and also donate a third of it to the Phoenix Children's Hospital, along with the Diamondbacks, the Phoenix Suns, the Arizona Coyotes, and the Arizona Cardinals. Great, probably one of the best children's hospitals in the country. Just the amazing work they do for those kids and in their community. We want to be a part of that. And then the remaining third is going to go to helping feed hungry families that have been laid off, paying utility bills, just stuff that's necessity for people to survive, that these politicians in these, I hate to say it, in a lot of Democratic-run cities, they don't care. They're just these Corona bro, mask warriors. All they care about is mask. But if you want to riot in the streets, you're fine to do that. Or if you want to go to a Joe Biden celebration, that's okay. That, the virus doesn't attack you there. It's absurd, half the stuff that's going on, and I feel for so many of these families that have lost their livelihoods, and we want to help. So that's how we're going to be divvying up the money. But what we need is, so if you go to the website and you buy a package, you're going to get a package and you're going to get to have that money donated. What we need you to do before you purchase the package is email me, chase@chasewins.com, or hit me up on Twitter @PicksChase, and say, hey, I'm going to buy this package. and then you give us your consent to donate the money on your behalf. Because what we're going to do is, even though the main donation is going to come from the We Are Sports Foundation, we're going to compile a list of every name that donated. And there are some people that are really funny about that. They don't want their name out there. So we need to know. So that way, when we see a purchase come through the site and it says, John Doe purchased X for $1,000, we know we have consent to use their first and last name, showing that they were part of the donation. And if you don't want to, you're still going to donate your money. It will just be, it just won't say your name. So it'll just be in the random pool of We Are Sports. So, and then if you know of anything in your community that we can help with, please let us know. Or if you are already on a package and you just want to donate, reach out to me. I'll tell you how you can send money into the foundation where you won't have to purchase something to do so. Or if you're not on a package and you don't want one and you just want to donate $5, $10, hell, $1,000, whatever you can help with. Like I said, send me an email. It'll go to a great cause, and I can assure you there's a lot of people out there that need it. Like I said, we have a lot to be thankful for. But this year, like if you're watching this video and you get to participate in the sports stuff that we do every day, we have a lot more to be thankful for than a lot of people. So again, always remember to give back, because if you don't pay it forward, I can promise you it'll stop coming eventually. So anyway, that's what we've got for this week. The specials that we've got: college basketball starts on Wednesday. So 2 days from now, we are going to be fully immersed in what is my second favorite sport to invest in. Everybody knows that I am the MLB king. We'll talk about that in a second. And that my two favorite things in the world are Major League Baseball and college basketball. And we get to start one of them in less than 48 hours. So make sure on Tuesday, go ahead and buy whatever package you want. 3 days, a week, a month, whatever. Because there are no games on Tuesday, you won't be charged for that day. It'll be extended an extra day automatically to make up for that day. But you want to get on it a day early, because I'm probably going to release plays late Tuesday night for the early games that we play on Wednesday, so you can lock your bets in early. That's one major reason. And you don't want to wait till Wednesday morning and then get caught up doing something or get behind or whatever, and then you miss out on early action. So make sure you do that. I can promise you the day will be made up. You won't be charged a day where you get nothing. That, and then every year this week, we do the huge MLB early bird special, where you can get my full MLB season for the upcoming season for less than half off. This is the only time you can get this. At the beginning of on our New Year special, we always do like 30% off or something, but at no other time throughout the year can you get it this cheap. You can't even get it this cheap when the season is halfway over and we're at the All-Star break. All of my diehard MLB people and the people that follow my MLB every year, which everybody knows there is not a better MLB bettor out there. Nobody that hits 70% period like we do every single year, consistently, week in and week out. I'm the MLB king for a reason. I didn't give that name to myself. Make sure this is when all of my loyal MLB followers buy this package. They wait for it and wait for it. And the second that it hits, we're only a few weeks out of MLB for the last year. They buy it now, because why wouldn't you? Don't spend triple the money when you know you're going to end up buying it anyway. Save the money. That way you can use it towards something else, and you'll get a full season with playoffs. It's already on the website. But if you don't get it now, there won't be another opportunity to get this price. So that's what we've got going on. I'm sure there'll be a few little discounts going on for Black Friday, nothing major, because we did our buy one, get one early bird Black Friday stuff. If you did send in an email wanting the buy one, get one free list, don't worry. If you haven't been responded to yet, you will. We had such an overwhelming turnout for that. I don't think we've gotten to all the emails yet, but we will. Don't worry. And if you send it in before the cutoff, you will still be able to take part in that. But anyway, let's get on an underdog play for Friday college football, and I am going to look at the game between Stanford and Cal. Let me just make sure that this line hasn't changed from an hour ago when I bet it. All right. William Hill. Yeah, okay, so Stanford is still +2. Money line's dead even. Cal's laying 2 with a $1.25 money line. Over under is sitting at 50.5. We're not going to focus on the total on this one. We are actually going to take the 2 points with Stanford. And the reason I say take the 2 points is because you're only going to lay $1.05 to take the 2 points, and you're only getting even money. It's dead even, no juice laid, but no plus money if you take the money line. And even though I think that Stanford wins this game outright, I don't think we'll need the 2 points. The reason I'm saying take them is because this is two teams that aren't overly talented and one that's historically a slower paced team in Stanford. And being that neither one of these teams have a lot of, we'll just say, experience for this year because they haven't played very much because their season started so late. So, they're all of them are still trying to figure out their identity, get into a rhythm, get into a groove. 2 points can mean a lot. Obviously, the magic number would be could we get it at a field goal or above? But I don't think it's going to get that high. If anything, I think the number could come down. Cal historically is not a team people bet on in football. They are a historically faded team by the general sports betting public just because of who they are. Now, in saying that, Cal this year, the number makes sense based on what? You've seen Cal play a little bit. Stanford had a bunch of people opt out. They had people declare for the draft. They have people already injured. Yeah, I get it. But if you look at the two teams, they're about as deadlocked even as they've been in the last decade because usually Stanford's way up here, or at least so you're told. Name me a time in the last 10 years where Stanford is always coming out in the top 15. Always. I mean, we had a 5-year run there where they were starting out in the top 7 or 8 every year, sometimes in the top 5. And everybody's like, oh, Stanford's got a chance. Stanford's got a chance. And they will go out there and they'll beat UCLA. They'll beat Cal, Cal Berkeley. They'll beat a UC Irvine. They'll beat a Fresno State. But then they can't beat Oregon. A lot of times they won't beat USC. And then if they have to play a team like a Texas or a Notre Dame or another big name national school that draws big attention from another conference, they can't hang with them unless they're playing another defensive team. Because that is one thing that I'll give Stanford. Under this head coach, they have been okay defensively, but they're okay against who? West Coast offenses. That's what they play against. They're people that are air the ball out, play fast. Stanford brings them down to reality, make sure they can't run the deep ball, and that means that the games take forever. Clock stops, incomplete pass here, out of bounds here, so on and so forth. And when they do complete it, first down, clock stops. Go look at a Stanford game. If the average college football game lasts 3 hours and 11 minutes with commercials, why does Stanford's last 3 hours and 42 minutes with commercials over the past 10 years? Because they know how to guard the West Coast offenses. That's why when you see a Stanford play, I'm just going to throw a name out there. Who's been a predominant running Power 5 team that's been a big threat over the past 10 years? You know what? Let's use a team like Michigan. Let's use Michigan from the 2016-17 years. The year they played South Carolina in the Outback Bowl, where they had their quarterback, Spieth or Spieth, whatever his last name was, go down with a back injury. And their defense was incredible. Offense was kind of anemic. And they only found success in running the ball down their throat. Stanford could only keep up with a team like that for so long because they were used to guarding the deep ball. So their defensive focus was on like cornerbacks, somebody to go guard the receiver. That's what they still are. Now, what they do have now is they don't have as good of a quarterback, in my opinion, but they do have a solid running back. And they do have a couple of solid tight ends that can play the running back position if needed. Short routes, short slants, pick up 5, 6, 7 yards here, and really kind of burn that clock, run the table, and go short, but they'll be short and sweet, but it'll be effective once they get into the rhythm. They're not really in a rhythm yet. But what do you have in Cal Berkeley? The typical West Coast offense. They mimic what UCLA is doing. And, what did UCLA do? It's the same thing that's run at Oregon, just not near at the level. Same thing that's run at USC. Same thing that Utah does. Same thing that BYU is doing. Boise. All of those West Coast offenses. Same thing that Leach is bringing to Mississippi State. Same thing that Lane Kiffin did at Tennessee when he was trying to run that West Coast offense. What you're going to have here is that what I think is going to be the difference maker, and why, based on the numbers that are out there, I can get behind the reason that Cal is favored by 2, but why I think it's wrong, and what gives me my number at Stanford -4, which is why I'm willing to lay the money line. I just don't think you're getting a lot of value in it. If we were getting any sort of plus money, plus $1.05, plus $1.10, then I would say take the money line. But the reason I have it at a mismatch of almost 6 points is 2 things. Number one, where Cal Berkeley can attack them and beat them offensively is by going deep. But if you've got your 2 healthy corners in there for Stanford, it's going to be a long day for them. What Cal does, and we've already seen it in the short stint, and I've gone back and watched every snap of Cal ball this year because I did watch their game on Saturday, is they will try adjustments. So if deep ball is not working, if it's not, they cannot get deep, they'll try to put the ball on the ground, which they cannot do. They cannot do it. Now, you saw some stints on Saturday, if you watched the game, where they looked like a decent running team. That was because they were going up against a terrible rush defense. They couldn't get to the quarterback, so the quarterback could have rushed it for an average of 4 to 5 yards himself every possession. So they're going to go deep. And they know that Stanford's defense is typically one that likes to try to get to the quarterback. But over the past few years, they've focused more on the receivers. Don't let teams go deep. That's what we see in the Pac-12. And, any of these conferences like this, the Mountain West, the Pac-12, all of those West Coast offenses, and even a lot of the Big 12. Focus on the receivers. Don't let teams go deep. And when they can't go deep, they typically don't have the run to back it up if your defense is even above average, which Stanford's has always been, at least under this coaching staff. So what I think happens is they prevent Cal from going deep, prevent them from creating separation. Cal tries to adjust, put the ball on the ground. They're not a good enough running team, which is going to make Stanford's ground defense look even better than it is. And I think that on the other hand, they're going to be able to put the ball on the ground and have more success than they would in years past. They may not try to go deep, but if they can go out there for the first half of football, put the ball on the ground, that's what Cal's going to be used to and waiting on, because they're going to do it over and over and over. They're going to come, into halftime, come back in the second half and say, hey, we're going to take a couple of shots downfield. Cal's not ready for it. They're not going to know how to defend it because they haven't seen us do it. If we're up by a touchdown, a field goal, let's go create some separation by doing something that they're not going to expect us to do. And if it works, great. We'll go back and forth all day. It all depends. But even if the game stays the same, with Cal trying to go deep and Stanford putting it on the ground, they're going to control the time of possession, which is not going to let Cal's offense stay on the field long. Their defense is going to stay out there and get worn slap out. And even if it stays a very close game that is made up of mostly field goals, Stanford is not only going to control the time of possession and get more chances, but they've got a kicker that can go and hit one from 50 yards need be. And, a Cal Berkeley kicker that is probably the difference of about 8 yards on average, which means if they both get backed up to some long field goals where they have to attempt 2 or 3 each time, Cal Berkeley's going to average, 1 out of 4 of those long field goals over 45 yards, whereas Stanford can go hit 3 of 4. So again, I think it's going to be a close game unless Stanford is able to air the ball out and do something that they're not, used to doing or used to have to doing. But I just think that even if it's a close game, I think it's on the side of Stanford coming out as a field goal plus winner. So again, my instructions to you for this game, I took the 2 points and I laid the $1.05 because I think laying that 5 cents and getting 2 points in our back pocket in what could be a very close game is more valuable than dead even money with no extra incentive and no points. Again, if we were talking about both of these teams being 4 or 5 games into a season, completely different scenario. Stanford would be favored, and it would probably be by at least a touchdown, and they would have more of a blueprint as to what they need to do versus the other team. Again, I think this is going to be a learn on the fly type situation, other than Stanford knows they've got to prevent the long ball. What does Cal Berkeley know they have to prevent? A win by a better team. So, again, yeah, it can be decided. I think it'll be kind of a sloppy game, but I just think that it'll be a game that's decided in the second half when both teams settle in and realize this is our only shot for success. It either works or it doesn't, and I think the better team prevails here, and I think that's Stanford. So if your book is giving you plus money to take Stanford on the money line, take Stanford on the money line to win outright. If you are not getting plus money, take the 2 points, put them in your back pocket. Still bet Stanford either way. I think they're the better team. I think they win outright. That's your free play, but those are your 2 instructions on how you can bet it. So there's your free play, your underdog pick for Friday college football. Don't worry, I've got a couple of more dogs coming your way, and we might have a game of the year this week, folks. There is one I'm looking at. I want to look at virus list and injury list and all these things that they're going for at least 24 more hours before I release it. But if we do, it will be released at least 48 hours ahead of time if I do decide to play this game. It is in Power 5 action. It is a game that I can't wait to watch, and there are big rating implications on this game. So we will see. So make sure all the instructions that I gave you in the Stanford game, follow those. Let me know what you would like to purchase and donate, and if you want your name to be a part of it. And if you know anywhere that needs our help, we want to help. Every dime we take in this week, we want it to go to a good cause. So I love you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Click the link in the description of this video for 2 more free plays in the previous video that I did, and I will be back for more either tomorrow or either later today or tomorrow. Love you. Well, later today. I keep saying that because I did a video earlier. This video will be for Tuesday, even though it's Monday night. So I will do another one on Tuesday or Wednesday, and I'll get you some more free plays. See you guys.